In the very start of what promises to be an incredible weekend of pool. And it's Batman who breaks us off and makes a ball.
Yeah, it comes across the break as well. Look at the spot spinning there, but he won't mind if he gets this outcome every time. It's a pretty good chance.
Well, he obviously has enough room at the bottom of the table to get to that red that's tucked just below those two yellows, so this really should be a first frame on the board for Eddie Barker.
Wait, you're not giving him any opportunity to ease in straight away. Just got to get this frame on the board. In all honesty, though, it is a really good layout, isn't it, for your first chance of a tournament?
Yeah, you like them all day long. There's Andrew Patchett.
Oh, he's just pulled up in time. For a second, I thought he turned it a little bit far.
Yeah, as you see how quick the table is out there in the match arena. Barely brushed that cue ball along the cloth. I was speaking to Eddie earlier, and he seems to be in fine fettle, and quite jolly.
Yeah, I saw him. I spoke to him 2 minutes before we went live, actually, and he was very relaxed to the point where I was like, Eddie, are you actually playing in a minute or not? He didn't look like he was ready to go. It looked like he was just in a very casual mood, which is, I think, a really good thing, actually, off the table. Downplay it a little bit, but obviously very serious out there as well.
Nicely manoeuvred.
I never really would have wanted this to be my last ball for the 8 ball, but the way they were laid out, I think it had to be, really.
Yeah, you didn't want to be coming off this ball now having to go back into the middle of the table for one of the other two reds. So it's just a case of judging the pace of the cue ball now, and I think he'll be trying to get onto the black into the right hand centre. Just pull this across.
I just think it's one of those shots that you could easily leave yourself a bit of an awkward 8 ball. There you go, he's got that all wrong.
That's a bizarre shot to play there. He was always going to cannon into those two yellows.
I don't think the shot, you're right, I don't think the shot he was playing is on here at all. He's playing this for the left hand side, trying to miss the yellow. But he hit it, I mean, he hits it, well, more than full. He hits it on the inside of full. It's a poor decision more than anything else.
You have to leave yourself a shot in the black, whatever you do.
It was just as you say, it was just to control it and just give yourself a shot. The reason I didn't like it as a last ball was I just felt you would leave yourself you weren't going to be straight in on it into the centre like you'd want to be, but it had to be the last ball the way it was laid out, or it sort of felt like it was going to be.
If you screw back, you can't fail to leave yourself either a thin cut on the black in the middle, dead straight on it, or a thin black coming the other way. Even if, goodness, what's wrong with these people today?
Okay. What a start. I'm trying to work out which one's the bigger error here. This is, it's going to be, the bigger error is going to be Andrew's because it's the second error, but that's quite incredible.
It's like we've quantum leaped back to the 60s when they were playing. Well, I don't think I've seen two worse shots in the all season.
Well, they may be the two worst shots we see all day long. 8 ball going for a ride. No golden breaks in play, so no drama there. Just a nice cut break from Andrew, and another good opportunity off his own break. Interesting decisions here. Red above the 8 ball is awkward on who to go reds. I think the rest of the reds are okay. Yellows may well be the better option. Andrew certainly thinks so. I think the yellows in the triangle area are a little bit awkward though.
Yeah, it's a very finicky looking finish for me. You'd like to push that yellow towards the corner bag and not towards the top rail. As Eddie Barker looks on. Wants to get rid of these two yellows at the top of the table first. Played that nicely. Nice control by Patchett. Got a nice angle now to come down the table. Almost a bit too much angle, to be fair. But I have to agree with you once again. Those two yellows that are above the, obviously the one that's the yellow that's nearest the bag is easy, but it's the two that are just above it, I think, are tricky.
Almost helps him if he had played onto it as a plant, actually. If you get right behind it, the plant, and then it gets you onto the one into the centre pocket, and then you should get out from there. He's on the bottom one, but he has to play a good positional shot here.
Is he going to screw into the red in between them? Ooh.
Tried to check it up and it just slid on him.
He's trying to be on a sixpence there and it's failed. I think he's been fortunate. If he's got a little gap, he can see him pop this into the top right, then he's been a little lucky.
Sort of shot that if you are playing in your local club, it's easier to pull off than on this table where it just slides on you and that check side doesn't take.
Nicely dispatched. And now he's going to just drop this yellow ball that's next to the black cue ball just off the bottom rail, and yellow into the bottom left-hand corner. And this will be 2-2. Well, he was a little bit worried there with that cue ball. Would you believe it? Well, I don't think Eddie Barker was anticipating having another bite at this cherry.
That was quite staggering, wasn't it? I'm not really sure. I mean, there was no reason for that at all.
No, he had all the yellow to hit.
I mean, it was. Sometimes you see missed pots, and you know that's the nature of the game. But that was an unmissable ball. But sometimes when you have that sort of thing, it gets missed because you're trying to hold the cue ball, or because of the positional side of it, and maybe you're picking the pocket. But that was just a strange miss.
Well, this red has to go in behind this yellow. Oh, he's played it very well. He's been a little bit unlucky there. He also tried to move that red off the rail that's near the black. He achieved the main part of that, which was obviously knocking in Andrew Patchett's yellow and having the red follow in behind so he could stay at the table. If the red hadn't gone in behind it, of course, it would have been a loss of turn and Patchett would have just strolled to the table and knocked the black in. But yeah, a little bit unlucky there from Barker not to nudge that red out. But he still has a slight angle. I think he's going to have another attempt.
Beautiful.
Great shot from Barker. So at the second time of asking, he's nudged that red out, and I'll tell you what, Andrew Patchett is going to be absolutely kicking himself.
He's made two major errors, isn't he, in the match already? It's so hard to kind of respond to that, really. I mean, he's the one that should be 3-1 up.
Yeah, absolutely, Simon. And now the simplest of black balls for Barker to get himself into a nice two-frame cushion. And down it goes. And well, Barker has just snatched a couple of frames there off Patchett from some, well, just quite bizarre mistakes. So yes, Eddie's been a bit lucky, but again, he's left him no chances. He left a loose shot when he left him the red, and once again, and it's just not going Andrew Patchett's way at all.
Red ball's in place.
You feel he has to come up with something at this visit. He's got to change the narrative of this match. He's got to find some positivity and try and force himself back into this game. I thought that was going to happen on frame 2, actually, when he made a really good break clearance where it wasn't easy, and thought that was going to reset and the mistake of the opening frame was going to be gone, but it wasn't. He's got a chance here. Ooh, that was a poor one, but Well, I say he's got away with it, but he hasn't, because how do you connect these two together?
Well, he's got to pot the red into this corner, drag the cue ball back off the side rail behind the black ball and try and cannon into that yellow. But it's a tricky one. You've got to sort of pinch it very deep in the cue ball.
Extension call.
Well, he opted against it. He went for the thin cut into the corner, and he's missed that by a country mile.
Yeah, this is not the match Andrew was hoping for when he came into the venue this morning. He's going to really struggle. Because the thing is, we're looking at it, it's not as though Eddie's played well here. You know, Eddie's not exactly, played his best game. He's just been more solid, isn't he?
Indeed. She's been mopping up Patchett's errors. Still tricky here for Barker. Those two yellows on the left-hand rail, they're going to cause Eddie a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I know we were critical of Andrew for not going in the previous frame, or for playing, if you are going to play safe, play good safety. Question whether Eddie needed to go here. 4-1 up, could have played safe.
I think he'll be playing safe now. Just going to drop the cue ball into the yellow, just off cue ball off the rail and tuck in behind it.
My thinking here is, gets a good snooker, what's he going to do when he gets cue ball in hand? If he gets cue ball in hand.
Again, you feel that Patchett should hit this red at the top of the table. What Patchett doesn't want to do is pop that red at the top of the table and get a cue ball round behind the yellow and the black there, and that would be a disaster. Well, he's coming across. No. I didn't like that. I like to, if I'm on reds, I like to leave that cluster there because it's a bit of security for me with Eddie.
Play for the big open red, yeah. Because even, as I said, even if you give away cube on hand, what's Eddie going to do there? He's got to come up with a shot, and there wasn't really much on. So by going that way, you're opening up balls.
Yep.
It's still not easy here for Eddie, though. It's worth pointing out, but
yeah, but he's got options.
I like what he's doing here. Pop this over the middle and get another snooker.
Yeah, this is good. This is good thinking by Eddie Barker. Yeah, nicely done, and he's also stopped going straight across as well.
And that's why he took his time on the previous safety, because he was trying to figure out could he do something like that on the previous shot. In the end, he decided he couldn't, so he kept it very tight.
Well, he got it on the way back there, Patchett the red, but that's a shot he should have played the time before.
But if this yellow goes, it's still a chance for Eddie.
What about playing to the yellow, it's just below the red, and stick the cue ball next to the red ball? Yellow, the other yellow over the middle then, and Patchett's got no shot. Was he going for the double? Can't be.
Oh, that's bold. That is bold.
Oh, he's gone for the cut. That's, well, not for me, that shot.
Well, it was tight. That was the first thing. It must have gone, otherwise, yeah. Look how tight it is there.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I mean,
I didn't mind, like I say, play that yellow.
I like your shot though. I do like your shot because you don't see it enough. You don't see it where you use your opponent's ball to block it. You know, get him as long as you're not touching. You're putting him in a world of trouble.
Because he has to play a shot. He has to come out of there.
Yeah.
And where he comes out, you're always going to force to leave you on the yellow.
Andrew played to move the 8 ball out here, and obviously second prize is the double. Hasn't landed on it as nicely as he would have if he had just played for the double. But big shot coming up. Well,
much needed black ball down for Andrew Patchett. I think if that one didn't go, I think we were to look in at the end.
Here we go then. 5:37 left.
As you said, Simon, he's been breaking well, and that one's not let him down either.
Yeah, fiddly little layout, but a chance.
When you're Andrew Patchett, all you want is a chance. So he'll take anything, any scraps that are left on the table. He's got plenty of time, it's over 5 minutes. So he's not having to gallop, he's just got to make sure this framing, it'll tie up the match.
Got to get across to the right-hand side. Can't leave that as his penultimate ball. Needs that off the table. Gone for it now. Gone for the one at the top now, but he's on both. I'd take the one at the top now, wouldn't you? Just drift down. You take this one?
Yep, all day long. I don't think I wouldn't run the risk of not being able to get on it later.
He has missed it.
Eddie can't play run the clock down because there's too much time there, so he's got to try and win this frame.
Pull this back and back yourself to make the combination.
I think you've got to go, yeah. Well, yeah.
It's do or die shot.
He's plumb on it. This is perfect.
Yeah, and if you were offered this to win a match, you'd take it. And that's what it will feel like.
He's already potted one of these in this match earlier, and it was a trickier one than that, and he's done it again, so he's not missed any of those. I think he's going to have to play and double the one that's further up the table first. Try and get the keyboard to come round the angles past the black and play a long yellow into the bottom right. I think that's his out. He's going to make a liar of me and screw back and play the one down the rail now, is he? Yep. And then play the double. Probably a better option, actually.
Double then.
Yep, Barker has this pretty much for the match. You can't see the keyboard not finishing on the black if he does get it.
Oh, and the nudge helps.
Oh.
Simplest 8-ball then for the match. Some nervous moments towards the back end, Freddie Barker, but he is going to get the job done. Andrew Patchett not really at the races, especially early on. Too little, too late. And he bows out, but the Batman moves on, as do we. Second match from the last 96 will come up very shortly.
Brian Halcrow, the quickest man in all of 8-ball, breaks off this second match of the day. Simon Webber's vanished for a pot of tea. Going to swim in the sea, no doubt. I can tell you that I'm here. Good afternoon, everybody. Stephen Jameson here with you, and alongside me is the one and only Tony Holgate. Very good afternoon to you, Tony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jameson. How are you?
I am very good, mate, and I am all the better for having your fine self perched next to me.
You lie so well.
Now, the last time we commentated on Brian Halcrow together, we were talking about this in the break. I think Brian thinks we're something of a lucky charm for him, because the last time we commentated on him, he went and bashed up Chris Melling in next to no time, in probably his best performance on the Ultimate Pool Series that he's produced in the better part of 4 years. So he'll be hoping that we're a lucky charm for him. He's geared up in his wasp attire, as you so eloquently put it in the last game, and he's ready to rumble here against Ryan Fleming. The Scotsman has got himself yellows and tried to take a pocket there, which has not worked out too well for him. He's now in a bit of a pickle.
Yes, Halcrow there very quickly putting himself in the box seat in this frame. Halcrow now with a great opportunity. The super buzzer.
Yeah, he's one of the sport's most interesting characters. Brian can while away many a minute chatting to him, and he's electing to play the percentages here and just wait. Just wonder if that might come back to bite him, because you just get the sense that Ryan knows he's a long way behind in this frame, and I always think as a player, which I have been told repeatedly that I am not, but I always think as a player, I think my attitude would be, what does my opponent want me to do least? And what does my opponent most want? what Ryan Fleming most wants is to just get a shot back at the table. And now he's got one. And he can go at these. He won't be intimidated by his one awkward yellow. He's made a very gettable yellow off the yellow into the middle, and all of a sudden he's got one awkward ball. I just think Brian's been a bit too defensive there, for my money.
Brian can go into cautious mode a little, and so there's credibility in what you've just said. However, I still think it probably was the right decision. I don't think the Reds are completely gimmies. And there you go, Fleming there trying, well, I think he tried to pot the yellow behind the red there, but the angle was never there. So he's just basically handed the table to Brian. He's not covered the bag either with the yellow, which still would have been a great shot anyway, but there is now a better opportunity for Brian. Does the red go up into the top left, off rail and off yellow? If it does, then the frame should be at Brian Halcrow's mercy. Well, he's got second prize. He's developed the two reds. He's not left Fleming to see that yellow at the top. He's just nudged onto that top rail. And all Fleming's got is a long yellow down into this bottom left-hand corner. If it passes, else it's a plant. Well, I think he's attempting the... I was going to say impossible. He's played a pretty good shot. And he's dug himself out of a hole there, Ryan Fleming. I think Halcrow's going to go long, is he, with this red into the bottom left-hand corner? What's his intention? He's missed it by a big chunk.
Well, we talk a lot, don't we, about first frames in matches. Players are always so keen to get that first one on the board, and I mean, Tony, you'll know that as well as anybody from your halcyon days. That first frame was so key, and especially in not just the first frame of a match, but the first frame of the tournament is big. And for plenty of these players, it'll be the first frame of a very, very big couple of weeks for them. That's certainly the case for Eddie Barker, who won our last match. I know Brian's, I don't think, hanging around for the World Championships, but I know Ryan is playing in the Masters, so he'll be looking forward to that, I'm sure.
I used to hate the first match. The first round, the first match, you don't know how you're really feeling inside. You play things in your head before you play, like a little video of how you think and hope that you're going to play when you get out in the arena, but it doesn't always go that way. And especially if you're here for a long time, if you're here playing this and you're also staying and playing in the World Championships, if you're here for 2 weeks, if you start off badly, have a really poor match as your opener, it can really set the tone for the entire tournament, which you just want to go home quickly. But there's no hiding place. Good little shot there from Brian as he puts these reds into a very good position. Fleming now forced to play this yellow across into the bottom right, into the red. It's never going to go behind it, so he's going to have to play the loss of turn and just hope Brian misses, I think. Well, there's the loss of turn. Over to you, Mr. Halcrow. It's been a bit of a scrappy opening frame.
I think that's been generous, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm a generous kind of guy, Gemma, to be fair. They actually used to call me Generous Tony Holgate when I played, which is absolute codswallop. But
yeah, which bit of generosity and specifics were they talking about, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. Well, does that red that's nearest to black pass the yellow into that bottom right? This is the tale of this story.
Well, I think he's played on it. So this is now a big shot.
well.
It's percentage pool. I don't mind it.
No.
That's one where I think I was a bit critical of Brian earlier, but that's one I definitely can understand, because you look at what you're leaving, you're feeling pretty good about that. I think your own position is significantly bettered, and your opponent's got a horrible shot. Having said that, it's not impossible that Ryan pulls something out here.
I'd have rather the red went behind it, went into the pocket.
Oh, he's got the loss of turn. What's he left?
He's left him a tester.
Brian's got to play a shot.
Brian's got to play 2 shots. He's got to play a long red down here, and then he's got to get the last red's going to be screaming the cue ball back down the table to get on the black. And when it's the first frame of the tournament, these are not pleasant. Well, he's nearly gone in off, and where's the cue ball?
Oh, he's okay. He's okay. It's a good pot. What I will say is, this next shot is a little bit horrible, but he's got to do absolutely nothing here. Just play it in. He's going to have a shot on the 8 ball. He's not on the cushion. It's just about making the pot, and it's presentable. That's a big wide. That was an easier shot than the last one for me.
That was a long way away there. That was further away than I've just travelled from Cornwall up to Blackpool. Shake it ahead from Brian. He knows he's had a couple of opportunities.
Yeah, and for me, I do just wonder if he had his time again, would he have gone about it a different way? Because I think earlier on in the frame, when he elected to bring Ryan back to the table, he had a better chance then than he did for the rest of the battle here. Now then, tough 8 ball, Ryan. Very well executed, so it is the Fleming brother who gets the first frame on the boards. Even for the quickest man in pool, this is a big ask. Great break, mind. Oh, he does get one. I thought that looked like one of those dry breaks. That'll be painful, but he does get a ball. It's a slightly iffy layout this here, though. You feel like it's got to be reds, and then you see the one on the bottom rail as we look here. Those two are just, the yellow and the red together, just awful. I'm not too sure how you go about solving them. They are really awkward. And he can't get there until later on in the visit either. So by the time he gets there, yellows will be sitting ducks. Has he got an angle now? Left middle. Into the red and yellow. He did. And all eyes on the cannon, and he missed the pot. Tail as old as time, and Ryan Fleming will be there to capitalise and try and put himself on the hill here in Blackpool.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time now for Brian, even if, wow, even if miracles were to happen. I think this is beyond that now with the time. I don't think he can reel off this finish and then another 3 in 3.5 minutes.
Go well. His big issue now will be the 8 ball.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
He's not on the double now because it squirts wide, I think, if he pushes this. Yeah. That has to be the end of that, really.
Yeah, it's a shame. Just not been Brian's game, really. Ryan Halcrow continuing to bat on, and have to respect it. I think plenty of players would have conceded by now.
I'd have conceded yesterday.
But you know, whilst I absolutely respect your right to do that, I do also respect Brian's, you know, choice to continue to play until the final second sounds.
Maybe the arena's warmer than his hotel room and he just wants to stay a little bit longer just to keep the chills away. That's it, snooker him.
Yeah, Ryan's making this a slow death, isn't he? And there does come the concession. Ryan Fleming gets the job done against Brian Halcrow, and Scotsman be pretty pleased with that, I'd imagine.
And relevant right now as the World Championships gets underway next week. Both these guys will be looking to retain their titles and maybe add to it as well. But it is Declan to get us underway. Didn't quite hit that as crisply as he can, but he'll take that result. And good opening opportunity for Declan. Yellow's the choice, obvious problem ball though, in the middle there of the Reds. Look to try and break that out pretty early. A couple of ways to do it, centre pocket and bottom corner pocket. Going bottom corner, you'd like to do 2 cushions rather than 1, but that line might not quite be on, difficult to tell. Decides to play on it, needs it to pull up. Oh, we've already heard from the guys that played on the table already today, this table is playing like lightning, and straight away Declan just overruns it. Excellent stuff. That recovers the situation nicely. Acknowledged as well from Clayton. Yeah, left way too much angle here. He's going to have a problem. Also got to be careful to pop this clean. If you nudge the yellow at all, you are in trouble. He holds on the yellow, but puts the 8 ball safe. Fully in trouble now. Every chance we'll see the world champion in action in this frame. I thought once Declan had recovered earlier on, it was going to be a fairly plain sailing route through to win this opening frame, but couldn't be further from that. And in the end, he just decides to hand the table over without fouling. No hope of making it in that way. Pretty good layout for Clayton to get going here. All the yellows off the table. Let the Q arm loose and get going. Played the best of positional shots there. Just getting himself into a little bit of a sticky area here. Does not want to leave the red up the table as his last ball. Doesn't have a good angle now to go up for the one up the top of the table. So I think he probably has to accept what he's got. Maybe drop this one in, then take the one at the top and use the red at the bottom to get to the 8 ball. He's going to play up for it now, and which probably is the right way, because if you take the one at the table now, it's obviously a tough pot, but you leave yourself half ball on the red that you're nearest to, you can't then hold on to the 8 ball, so has to go and leave the one at the top last, but really isn't a good last ball with the layout he had. Landed on it straight enough, thanks to that little bump that he can just... He'll be on the 8 ball wherever he leaves it really, but just how good on it will he be? Nicely done. Dealt with that little problem at the top and gets the opening frame on the board. Oh, and the dry break adds to Declan's woes. He hit this break so well that he turned away quickly to go and get his playing cue. He hit that so good, he knew he was going to make a ball. And in walking away, you're kind of listening for that rattle of a ball dropping, and it never came for him.
Painful for Decky. And a third straight chance for Clayton Castaldi.
It's not an easy chance though. You've got problems on both sides of the table. Sort of chance that if you're in full swing and you're playing some good stuff, you really fancy taking out, but it's far from a guarantee. I think this visit to the table right now will give us a better sense of how Clayton's feeling than winning the opening 2 frames, because he didn't do a huge amount in winning them. A mop-up job and 2 chances in the second. So
well, that's exactly what you want sometimes, just to settle you in.
Perfect way to settle in.
You know, because Clayton's had a few experiences on this main arena table now in the Pro Series main events, and it's fair to say he's had a couple of quite chastening experiences. We know from speaking to him earlier on in the year that he's trying not to put too much pressure on himself and just use it almost as a fact-finding mission more than anything else. That's worked out all right for him, and I think that's probably the right way to be. But at some point, he is the world champion. He's going to want to have a run. And what better way to get yourself into shape to do that than by starting off with a big win? Easiest way to do that is starting off with some nice easy chances against a good player. Get the confidence up, get the feel for the table there. Lovely.
Oh, that's brilliant. That could not have come out nicer for him. He still has an issue. The question is, does he take the double? He's quite high on it, so maybe not now. Is it worth the risk? Could he screw into the red? That's the problem ball, and just bump it over the middle. The problem is it could end up playing the 2 balls on the cushion back to back, which is a problem. So he's come back for the double. There wasn't really a good way of going there to try and deal with the 2 at the bottom and get above the red to take it down to the bottom of the table. So I agree with the double as being the option. A few rolls high.
what a shot. Yeah, cheers. Fantastic.
It's come out really nice as well.
He cued that in quite a strange way, I thought. Not necessarily strange for anyone else, but quite differently to how Clayton would usually cue the ball.
I was expecting him to not play the screw shot and go into the red. I thought he was just good, and I thought he might have an issue holding. I thought he might try and maybe target the yellow or the red, yellow or the 8-ball, because the 8-ball's tough to get on. Or not that he's made it look tough. He's played a beautiful shot there.
Well, what a visit to the table from the castle. Oh, bang. Josh Kane 4-3 up on Chris Hampson. Aaron Davies on the hill against Eddie Barker at 6-3. Sean Sharkey's just gone 6-4 up against Scott Gillespie. Matt Cook and David McNamara are Desmond. Kyle Cope 4-1 up against Ronan McCarthy. And Chris Day 2-0 up against Carl Sutton. As Declan Brennan gets his break to go.
Makes a ball, tricky layout. If you're feeling really good, you can make a case for the double straight away, and that opens everything up. If you wanted to go yellows, could go reds. A bit awkward first ball, but I think yellows is the way here. He did have a look. If there is room to pop the yellow into the left centre, it might pop the red out, so you might be able to play on to the yellow down the table. So it's not all lost here.
I think that's the plan, because Decky's never ashamed or indeed afraid to go after a difficult first ball. If it's the right shot, it's the right shot, is his mantra. You can see here he feels like he's got the room for it. I'd be inclined to agree.
This can go wrong though. You can get the wrong contact in it and just make it worse, not better. Such a big shot in this match for him. He was able to slide by it, but he's not come far enough.
Well, it's not game over, but his next two shots are difficult. I say the next two. The first one probably isn't too hard unless he tries to do something, really do a lot with the cue ball. But his shot after that could be very difficult indeed. I think because of bridging over the red, he has to take his medicine on the next one.
Too far again, I think.
No, I think it's okay.
It's just pulled up.
That's a really, really, really good shot.
I couldn't see him get. If he's on it, I couldn't see him getting this good on it. But he's not on it. He's having to bend it. Oh, that's fabulous. He's not on the 8-ball, I don't think. Or is he? No.
It's tight.
Oh dear.
It's a bend. 2 in a row. What an out from Declan Brennan that is. That is naughty pull from the Northern Irishman. You can see his team manager in the background there. It's the Northern Irish team manager who's trying to catch his eye and just have a bit of a giggle because he knows how good that was. Declan's absolutely flushed that break. Can't really hit it much better. I cannot believe that is dry. I'm staggered. Absolutely staggered. You just watch Declan there, he's almost resigned to it. But I am blown away by the fact that's dry. That should, and I don't want to talk him in before Clayton has made this clearance, but that should really be that. Yeah,
Just
it's the only real shot that he had to play, and now they're just wide open for the Castle.
Yeah, if you're looking for problems here, you're struggling. These are very good.
Yeah, Declan's comfy in that chair right now.
I guess he's just got to play a couple of shots in the middle, just make sure you get the order right. Drop this in, then left centre, and then you're going up the table. He's looking at trying to do more here, so he doesn't like dropping this in and leaving the left centre. I'm not sure he needed to do that, in all honesty. And he's not, first glance, he's not on anything here. clip this one in. So he's okay, but the cue ball's running a little loose. And he's back in prime position. Maybe not exactly how he controlled it, but he won't care. He's perfect.
I think that's been the impressive thing about Clayton's performance, is when he has potentially made a mistake and he's ran a little bit loose with position, or he's just landed the wrong side, he's got himself back in shape really, really well. He can't always play absolutely perfect, but he's still finding a way to get out, and he's doing it in some style.
Played 2 or 3 really good touch shots in the middle, and then a couple of loose positional shots as well. But I agree with you, he's recovered well. He's found a way to make finishes. The two finishes in the middle of the match were very impressive.
Clayton Castaldi 2 pots away from what will be a big victory for him. He has landed just about as awkwardly as he possibly could on this yellow, because he hampered queuing over the 8 ball. Just becomes missable.
Yeah, hampered queuing, and he may have to screw this on and off the cushion as well. I'm not sure you can top spit this because the red at the bottom. Perfect.
Played that beautifully. McCastle about to claim a famous win.
The world champion beats the world masters champion. A brilliant performance from Clayton Castaldi. Just
Welcome back to Blackpool. John McAllister, Chris Melling. What a match in store. Me, Tony Holgate, and I'm joined by Nick Finn. Afternoon, Nick.
Good afternoon. How's Tony?
Oh, very well, mate. Very well indeed.
Excellent. You've seen some good pools so far. I've literally just arrived, so...
Well, I was on Eddie Barker earlier today, and then we had the Brian Halcrow, Ryan Fleming even. And Ryan was victorious in that.
What a cracker we've got here. A winner from event 4, was it, John McAllister? I think it was event 4. We're 5 and 6 this weekend, are we? No, would have been event 3, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It was indeed.
Yes. Playing against Chris Melling, who's freshly back from a lot of travelling. He's just flown in from China.
I thought it's Saudi.
Sorry, yeah, he went from Saudi to China.
Did he?
Yeah. He literally he was in Saudi playing in the World Championships, and then flew straight from there to China, playing in the Chinese tournament, and he's just flown back from China.
Must have been a short tournament in China then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I can't remember who he lost to now. So yeah, he was only there for
10 minutes,
2 or 3 days, I think, and it's some schedule. But, he'll be hoping that, if I remember rightly, the last time Chris did this and he came back from China, in the first event of the weekend, he was, I think it was probably event 1. He was absolutely horrendous in the first event, and then he won event 2. If memory serves me right, or he certainly got deep, made a final or something. I can't remember exactly, but it took him a couple of days to get going. But when he did, he was flying.
Well, Melling breaks off his first break of this tournament, and it's a positive one.
Yeah, Chris actually put up a post saying in the last 3 weeks he finished second in the Champions League, 9th in the World 9-Ball Championships, and 17th in the Joy Superstation. So yeah, he literally, that was a post that he put up yesterday. I mean, 2 days ago. Yeah, he lost put up a status saying he lost a phone, and here he is today. So I mean, he's literally been on the plane, landed, and come straight here by the looks of things.
Fair play.
That's pretty much what Shane Thompson did as well.
And old Nick here stalking the corridors of social media.
Absolutely, yeah. So great opportunity, obviously, for Chris here.
Well, he's not missing these. Pretty straightforward now. Ball dropped into the centre.
Yeah, the red is obviously guarded to the bottom right, so that's, I guess, the only consideration he just needs, and that's why he's gone across for this ball on the right hand side now, because he can then come back over for the ball on the left. Sorry, on the right hand side to take the 8-ball to the left. That's what I meant.
A young Frenchman there. I would say young. He's like one of the Peter Pan of pool. Was Christophe Lambert. As Melling finishes off, a quick fire reply to John McAllister's opening frame.
John's still not done much wrong. Got, a dry break and got kicked in off the last one. In fact, that was a dry break as well, wasn't it? That last one. Chris kicking up the power with that break. He's taken the lesson from John and he's given that a bit extra for sure. That's up there. That's probably about 90% of what Chris can do.
You see a little bend in the cue as he presses it into the cloth after the break. Just those red and yellow that's stuck together on the right hand side of the table has slowed Chris down. I think if they weren't stuck together, he'd have already been well on his way to finishing off this frame.
Yeah, definitely wants to go yellows here. There's a lot more yellows in the vicinity to be able to get an easy opener on reds, but the yellows were the obvious option because he's got 4 or 5 balls here that he can use to break out that problem, whereas you look at the reds, he just doesn't have anything there to be able to break that out. So he's looking at leaving that angle. Probably off the next shot, I would have thought. Take this one to middle and leave the gap for the one to bottom left to kick off the bottom cushion and in behind it, do you think? Then at least he's still got those 2 balls in the middle of the table.
He doesn't want to come down the table and back into them because he then can stick behind that yellow, so he's going to screw off one of the yellows straight into these,
okay.
I think. Not come out well. The risk that if you did play say the ball over the bag and running into it from the bottom wherever the cue ball, like I say, if you break them apart, the cue ball can then stay behind that yellow and he's got no shot.
Yeah.
That's hence why he's gone into it that way, but it's not been great or kind to him. So we're going to try again.
But that was always a nice thing about...
We tried to knock it there, but he hit it a little bit thick.
Again, it was a nice thing about using the yellows, because if he gets it wrong the first time, he's going to have 2, maybe 3 more bites of the cherry.
The thing is, he's going to have to get it out before... It can't be his last ball, because he's never going to get on the black.
Yeah. Can he... I was going to say, can he try and land on it now? I
think he can screw into the bottom rail and with a load of left-hand side.
He's
wow. Well, I didn't see that one coming.
He's still got a bit of bother here, though, hasn't he, Tony?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the one to middle, but how do you get back across?
He's going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat now. He's going to get this finish.
And these are the kind of balls that can spit out as well. Very nice. But he's going to have to cue this beautifully well.
McAllister waiting to see if he will get a chance in this frame. He's going to have to screw the cue ball back.
This isn't about power, is it? It's about cue action. And there you see it.
This is not a gimme.
Probably about as good as he could have got, though, from where he was. line. Oh, goodness
Wiped
me.
his feet, but that is a tremendous finish there from Chris Melling.
What another break. Problem, sir.
Yeah, we'll have another look at Melling's break. And like you say, Nick, there's a little problem on the top left-hand side of the table. Well, two problems to be precise. You could get into, you could free them both in one shot, to be fair.
Oh, that's not a good start.
He's come up short there, Melling. Want to just glide that cue ball up and have the ball into the centre. Not sure he can get through to it now.
No, I don't think he's got anything here, Tony. Unless if he can get through, wow. Maybe just can. No.
Melling forced to play a containing shot. What you can see there, only thing I can see there for McAllister is a double into the left-hand centre.
Yeah, and he is a very, very good doubler of the ball. Actually, if he makes that, it does open the frame. I think when Chris played that yellow a second ago, he was hoping to not leave that line, because I think the red that's just below the cue ball now probably passes into the top left. I think he was trying to just cover that, just to make sure that you had a bit of a second prize. Well, obviously the red at the top doesn't pass the yellow either, does it? So that's also a problem. The double wasn't there, so sends a cue ball around the table.
Not quite sure about that shot there from John McAllister.
I think he's left the one to top right, hasn't he? And
I thought playing the double, getting that red out of the way and trying to develop the balls at the top of the table, probably the best form of defence for John. Because now he's left Melling in with a chance. And just a one problem ball for Melling. He's now looking, that's where he wants to be. If he can get the cue ball onto the top rail and leave an angle, so he'd come down and kiss into yellow and red, pushing it towards the middle. And you'd like to think he would, even if he wasn't on that yellow, that he would gain position onto the one that's in the middle of the table.
Extension call.
She's trying to find his route to actually get onto the bottom rail, because he can't quite screw the cube. I mean, he could, but if he hits it too deep, he ends up too close to that yellow at the top. He wants to see if he could just plonk behind the red here, but it's just a bit heavy. And now he's got to come off the railward side. This is a harder shot. Also, you're going to get, because of a skid off the rail, you're in danger of killing the pace of the cue ball. What he doesn't want to do is cannon straight into the yellow and then push it behind the red, and the cue ball stays stuck behind the red. Well, he got the red instead. You won't be happy with that, Mr. Melling. There we are, a little shake of the head and a toss of the chalk.
it's not even a nice place to double from, is it? It's,
No, and you feel he has to play it that way.
yeah.
He's not going to. No, he has to get perfect position on the yellow at the top for the double. He's gone to move it. That is an absolute world-class shot from Chris Melling.
Incredible.
I mean, he's played that as well. You know what I mean? That is absolute top draw.
We see it time and time again, but that is just astonishing. Oh, needs that to hold.
Oh, can he get through into the top corner. He just wanted a full nudge on that. And then when you consider the shot he played to move that yellow and how accurate that was around the angle, she'd have thought he'd have been on the black. I'm disappointed, Chris. He's never looking at the cut back into the middle, is he? McAllister unmoved by all that's going on.
Surely not. Surely not.
That is the most ridiculous finish I think I've seen for a long time. Chris Melling, take a bow.
You will not see a player finish a ball, finish a table like that. I mean, that is incredible.
Absolutely obscene.
I said he had to do something different.
Yeah, it's going for the cut break. Complete change. Does say he's gone dry.
Same
with
result.
The cut.
Oh my goodness.
So he switched to the cut break because he's been breaking dry and it's gone dry again.
I mean, I can't criticise him for that because I did say that he has to do something radically different.
Having said that, you said you admire him for sticking to his guns earlier.
Yeah, no.
Persevere with the other break.
Yeah. I still...
You can't have both horses in the race.
I know. Do you know what? I would have just liked to have seen him put that in the middle of the table and give it 110%, give it the full beans, throw everything at it, and just give himself every chance to make a ball. But it's hard to criticise.
Well, this is a shot here now for Chris, because he'll pop this into the middle. He's going to screw the cue ball into yellow and red at the top of the table there. Oh, he didn't want that second bump.
No.
If he'd just sat there, he'd have been fine, but he's now got a long yellow into this bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, this is awkward.
It's not a gimme. We know how big a potter Chris is, but it is 6-all. This is pressure.
Just needs to give 110% to the shot. Drops it in dead weight. Trussing the table. That's beautiful.
Not for me playing it that slow. I'd have missed it by about 10 foot.
I mean, you're putting a lot of faith in the table there, hoping you don't hit a finger mark, hoping you don't just get a slight roll off. I mean, that's brave. Brilliant.
Well, the thing now, he's going to have to give himself a very good angle on the last, or second to last yellow.
He needs to be where the 8
He's
ball
got
is,
to go
really,
to
isn't
bottom
he?
rail to top rail.
Yeah.
Top rail to bottom rail, should I say.
Well, he's landed above, so there must be...
He's got a slight angle, but this is going to have to be played with a load of power. Punch it all the way down the table.
Missable too, at this power.
He's not got there.
No.
He's come back too straight. Ouch. John McAllister must be sat there now thinking, I'm going to get a go at these reds to win the match. Or can Chris Melling pull out another unbelievable shot? That's not in. Ooh. Well, McAllister can now play the red into the centre bag, dead weight. Even if he misses it, you don't think he will. He's going to lose Chris and then nasty snooker anyway.
Yep.
So he's got... It's nice because you know you can't leave Chris the frame up here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you kind of got a free go at it.
It's a free go, yeah.
It certainly takes the pressure off. And while this isn't an easy clearance by any stretch of the imagination, you just fancy him to get it. He's just so wonderfully in control when he's at the table. Just seems to find a way.
I'll tell you what though, Nick, admiring him, if he takes these out to win this match from 6-3 down, he's already got a ball off the break at the start of the game. Melling's played some ridiculous pull, and admittedly so has John, played some incredible shots as well. But it just showed that the strength of McAllister. He's now showing the world he is right up there with the very, very best of pool players.
Yeah. There's not many players for me that when they're at the table you just feel like you're in safe hands. He's one of those players that, you know, you'd hand him your cue if you had to have somebody playing for your life or for your house.
He pots this and screws it over the middle, does he? I thought he might screw back into that other red and just bump it over the middle because he could drop up onto the black. I mean, I'm being hyper.
Yeah.
because this is still a bit of work to do.
There is.
He's got to go twice across the table. Ooh,
Goodness me.
well, that's perfect.
Just for a split second.
Yeah, but he can pot this and screw into the side rail. Look,
Yeah.
bit of spin. He's going to get the cue ball
Yeah.
up where his hand is nearly.
You can see the players behind craning their neck to get a view.
Wow.
What a match we have witnessed here.
Unbelievable. Well, this black for John McAllister. And in it goes, and he's beating Chris Melling in an incredible match. Melling led 6-3. McAllister showing his strength. He's come back and he's beaten the Yorkshireman by 7 frames to 6. Dave Fernandez versus the farmer, Phil Harrison. Fernandez breaking off, and he's gone in off. I'm sure he'll be very pleased with that. As he takes his seat, as the man from Cambridgeshire will come to the table.
Salsa versus the farmer.
Indeed. It's Tony Holgate, Nick Finn with you once again. We just had an incredible match between John McAllister and Chris Melling. If you missed it, one of the best matches I've ever seen. Melling led 6-3. McAllister came out of nowhere and stole the match 7-6. Stealing is probably harsh because he was brilliant. Well, both were brilliant, to be fair. Anyway, next on the menu, Dave Fernandez, Phil Harrison, and it is the man from Cambridge, Phil Harrison, the farmer, at the table, looking to do a demolition job on Fernandez.
Yeah, probably just touching on some of the other scorelines from around the room. Dave Hogan managed to conjure a win against Cole Bedford. He was 6-3 down in that game, and well, at least 6-3. I thought it was 6-3. Came back to win 7-6. And Tom Cousins has beaten Ryan Fleming. John Rowe threw against Jez Graham. Josh Kane beat Chris Hampson in a Hill game. We saw Clayton Castaldi beat Declan Brennan earlier today. Aaron Davis threw against Eddie Barker. There's some games that are live at the moment. Dave Hogan back in action now following that game against Cole Bedford. He's currently beaten Sean Chipperfield 4-3. A battle of the Welshmen, Andy Williams and Jordan Shepherd. Andy Williams is currently trailing just by 1 frame. It's 5-4 to Jordan. Jake McCartney across from Australia playing Amy Beauchamp. He's 6-3 up. Christophe Lambert, Cormac Kerr 3 each. Connor Jones, Luke Gilbert 4 each. Greg Batten 4-3 against Mark Fleming. And this is the other game that's in action at the moment. That gets us right up to date with all the games that are in play at the moment in this wonderful arena here at the Grand Hotel in Blackpool. Obviously, at the conclusion of this event, we go straight into the Worlds. And the Masters is sandwiched in between as well next weekend.
Nice shot there from Phil. Left himself the angle. Just going to roll this yellow into this bottom right hand corner. Roll the cue ball down the rail onto the bottom rail and have the black in the same pocket. Very clinical Harrison with these sort of shots.
Yeah, he judged those 2 shots really well. The one before coming across table to leave that angle, and judged the pace of that one to perfection as well to take the first frame. Greg Batten, Mark Fleming are playing just outside of our commentary box. Greg leading 5 frames to 4. Harrison breaks in frame 4. Parks the cue ball in the middle of the table. Lovely control of the cue ball, but to no avail. No ball made. And again, a very open table. What's your pick here, Tony?
Reds.
Yeah.
As he was queuing up to it. Yeah, it's one problem ball. He had a perfect angle on that red, to be fair, just to knock it, as he has done, over the middle. He's just looking to see which way he wants to go around the two yellows at the top of the, sorry, yellows, two reds at the top of the table. It's mainly just the one that's sat sort of just to the left of, let's say, the brown spot. He's got a slight angle. He can pop this into the, between the two reds into the right hand middle and just punch the cue ball upstairs a tad. And then those two reds will be dispatched at the top. Last two into the middle. And black pretty much wherever he feels he fancies playing it.
Looks like room for another close game here. The way it started. Ooh. He's okay, but
he ran that close, didn't he?
Yeah, heart would have been in the mouth just for a split second, I think.
Just a formality black ball now into the centre, and we're going to be back level once again. It'll be the first time somebody breaks free. And it's looking more and more likely it's going to be the man from Cambridgeshire. Just going around to have another check of that angle. Doesn't want to leave the ideally wants to leave it pretty straight. As Dave Fernandez looks on. That looks like he looks like he's got like he didn't want this angle. So it means he might have to screw into the side rail and come back through the gap of those two reds, unless he can pinch a bit of pocket and screw back into that red. Hello, cue ball.
Oh dear me.
He tried to screw into the red. He's actually narrowed it too much, come past the red, and as you can see, well, that was a very unusual mistake from the farmer.
You've got to say unforgivable in some ways, because he came around and checked the angle and then killed the cue ball dead. I mean, that he played a stun shot, killed the cue ball, so it looked like that was exactly the angle he was wanting, but clearly not. And then he's tried to just pinch it and overcooked it. And we thought for the world that he was going to go too clear, but now it looks like it's going to be Fernandez keeping things tight still.
That'll do him. He'll just drop the one in the centre now.
Oh
no, he won't. He won't drop the one in the centre. Has he blocked the path for the black? As there's another,
I would say
quite
no.
a bizarre miss.
Very strange. I would say, well, it's hard. Yeah, this is tight. This
Could
is
you
really
slide
tight.
it in off the jaw?
I think it may
This
just
is
go off the
tight.
jaw, you know, but it
Has to be. It basically has to just go past it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking. Well, he's
Yeah.
not even going to attempt it.
No, he doesn't think it's there.
Gone for leg
Oh,
for
what
table
about
double.
that, though?
Oh my word! What a shot from Phil Harrison! Wow, length for the table double. Ouch!
Fantastic.
Great view of that black as the cue ball he came and stopped it in its
Yeah.
tracks as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. Dave Gilbert is about to get underway. His first ever individual match here with Ultimate Pool. He has played a couple of doubles matches, a couple of matches in the Pairs Cup with his partner Kyle Cope, but this is the first time he's been out there solo. Lot of fun. Looking forward to this one. He is taking on the number 2 seed, Stevie Dempsey, and it is going to be Dave, for the first opportunity, very much downplayed his opportunity or his chances to do well here as Dave, but he can play, but obviously a lot of people will expect an awful lot from him, being such a big snooker player, obviously having a great run in the snooker recently, but very different game, and Dave has said that himself. It's doesn't really know what he's trying to do out there. Gets it wrong here positionally on his first shot. Bit of a stretch, but it's good layout actually to have a chance to run out the first frame. Red by the 8 ball, the biggest problem. He's going to be drifting down towards it here. He might not be able to avoid cannoning it, but that might be a good thing. But we'll find out. Does it go? I think it probably does. It's tight. Does go, he's decided he's going to try and get to it a different way. In fact, he's looking to the bottom left, tells me that it doesn't go bottom right, or he felt it was too tight, so he's thinking cushion first into the yellow and then make it that way. We won't find out if he'll make it though, as he misses the pot to the corner. And Dave Gilbert's first opportunity gets away from him, as I welcome back Stephen Jameson into commentary for this one.
Thank you very much. So yeah, big game as well. Crackling atmosphere out in the arena, which is nice. Plenty of eyes on this one. Great to see Dave Gilbert here with us this weekend. It's part of his summer holiday. And,
which is how he's viewing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should definitely make a point of that he's here for some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. He's brought a couple of mates up with him, and he's planning on having himself a good weekend. He's here for a good time and not necessarily a long time, because we were having a chat with him when he was with us at the Pairs Cup a couple of weeks back. He has got just about the toughest draw imaginable, because not only is he playing Stevie Dempsey in round 1 here, he's got Tom Cousins in round 1 of the next pro event, and that is just about the most ridiculous draw he could wish for.
I was with him. I actually was the one that informed him of his draw. We were doing some filming a week or so ago, and just before we recorded an interview, I thought it'd be interesting to know who you're playing so we can talk about it. And I just burst out laughing when I saw the draw. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's as tough as you could possibly get.
Well, given as this was meant to be a routine counter clearance, Stevie Dempsey didn't exactly have an easy route home, but he's taken out a couple of big shots already.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out with Stevie that he could be caught cold here. You know, we talk about preparation for matches, but he's turned up late here. His flight was 3 hours delayed coming over from Ireland. Well, that's an excellent pot, that really is. That could be the frame winner. And then the traffic was horrific getting from the airport to here, so much so that if we weren't delayed, and we are delayed by 45 minutes or so here, which is par for the course really, pool tournament, he might have missed the match here.
Well, you've got to say, a lovely visit to the table from Stevie Dempsey. Very, very good indeed from the hammer, who makes an early statement. But as Phil said, the challenge is controlling the cue ball.
That's it.
It's good news, bad news. Good news is the pockets play big. Bad news is the cue ball feels like it's on a bungee rope.
Dave is the first one to tell you that the break is probably the bit that he struggles with the most, although I slightly disagree with him, although he does get this one slightly wrong, but he gets away with it.
Seeing the left of the shot there, Carl Cope watching on. Protégé watching the master.
Yeah, it's been really good actually to see the way that Kyle's he's been taken under the wing by Dave. He really supports him, as do everybody at the club actually, having been there last week. really get behind Kyle and what he's trying to do in the game. And I think it's been great for Kyle to see what Dave does in the snooker world and what it takes to be successful and doing the right things to prepare for matches and being in the right mental space to play. The red below the yellow on the left hand side, it's guarded, and likely to land on that thin. You've got to be careful what you're playing on afterwards. The two together at the top block each other. That's okay. No good. Nearly. Another opportunity though, we can swing this round at middle of the table is likely, so we might end up on that thin cut again, which doesn't connect to the one below the 8 ball particularly well. I still love the shirt. We saw him on the Monday night on the Pairs Cup playing in that shirt. It is fabulous.
Oh, he's got a sniff. He's got a sniff. He's actually landed maybe about as perfectly as he could have.
The tap of the knee from Stevie tells me that he's on the gap to the one to bottom left.
Wow, he is. What a shot.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Beautifully done by the angry farmer. How good was that? Frame on the board for Dave Gilbert.
Turns around to have a chat with Carl straight away. Carl's having a little bit of a laugh at him.
Stevie wanting his break to be a bit more consistent. Not like that.
Same thing, isn't it?
Like
Tracking
that.
top right. And that's another really good layout, this.
Just hasn't quite been the consistency for Stevie D. He knew it straight away as well.
Only slight issue is the first red here, but with cue ball in hand, anywhere in the break area of the table, you go short position, as Dave is. I think when he hit that, he thought he might be a touch on the near jaw. It just sort of grazed it on the way in. But very nicely played, because he's sort of dealing with his hardest ball first and tracked the second hardest ball second, which is a nice way to go about it.
Sensing a picking up of the pace from the angry farmer here.
I think he's always been a bit, you know, from what very little of Paul I've seen him play, obviously he's played very little, I think he is just a naturally quick player, because he sort of sees it, hits it, not really too much to, you know, you certainly notice Stevie kind of really thinking about and mapping out the patterns a little bit more early in a visit, whereas Dave's kind of see it, go hit it, go play the next one.
Very good from Dave Gilbert.
He makes the ball, so he'll have the chance to do just that. That red, is it just gone awkward? It might have just gone slightly awkward, that red. If it pops over the middle pocket, it's not too bad. It would make the only problem the 8 ball. Yellows aren't great.
But is there a chance for Stevie Dempsey to win the match?
I think he must be going reds here. The way he was eyeing up the yellow there, but it must be reds. I think the red above the centre pocket will drop in. It's not nice. And it's a case of when do you deal with the 8-ball? How do you deal with the 8-ball? I think the short position on the 8-balls are available. But you'd have to have the perfect angle to get there, to the right-hand side of it.
Just wonder if he was where he was now, on the lowest of the reds together, he could land on the 8-ball from here. Just maybe.
I think he's got the angle on the highest of the two reds together now to get onto the one into the left centre pocket.
Yeah.
Well, he's not taking that, so maybe that red doesn't go into the left centre, because for me, that's the ball you've got to get rid of, and then you can deal with the 8-ball. I mean, he is looking at it into the centre, but
it looks really
and
tight.
he is now changed. He's now playing on the one I was suggesting.
It's tight, this.
I mean, on the overhead, it doesn't look on.
He's having a good old look. So are we. More you than me, Stevie.
Yeah, that doesn't look on.
And it drops. Never in doubt. But I had to play it in such a way that he could do absolutely nothing with the cue ball, and his next shot is tough.
I think he wanted to be on the red on the left-hand side, and he isn't.
Pretty good recovery.
I guess worst way on the 8-ball, now that, I mean, he's going to get there now from here, it's a double. If he doesn't feel he's got the angle to get behind the 8-ball, then the double, it really is, it's fairly routine really. If he lands, it's not a bad spot for one.
Is there a way for him to land sort of short position by that right side rail then? Because that's ideal.
Yeah, but not from the reds he's got left. Now, he could play a cannon on the yellow here, if he wanted to. And he's chosen not to. He could have slid across the table and targeted that yellow and guaranteed staying on the red. But
no, if he's dead straight here, he might be able to slide underneath the yellow if he wanted to.
I think he made his mind up to play for the double. But he's, from the angles we've got, it doesn't look a great angle to do anything else. But
double it is. Well, this for your match, Stevie.
it's a huge shot.
Bang. What a match from Stevie Dempsey and Dave Gilbert. Dave Gilbert's Pro Series debut ends in defeat, but that was some performance from the Hammer.
Nice evening match here. Got Tom Cousins, the #1 seed, versus John Rowe. It's John kicking us off with the break. I'm Tony Holgate, and I'm joined once again by Nick Finn.
Good evening.
This promises to be a bit of a belter, Nick.
Two former world champions. Probably had about the same kind of era as well. And yeah, not the start John would have wanted, but we've seen over the last few years what John's capable of. He doesn't really fear anybody. It's a tough game for anybody, and a tough one for Tom here. But Tom, as we know, just a beast around this arena. He's just so settled here. There's ice running through those veins. So clinical in every match he plays. There's just an expectation on him now, isn't there? There's just expect him to win every game. But John Rowe will have something to say about that. Great game for our Thursday evening. a super opportunity for Tom in the first frame.
There's one match to come after this one.
Yeah, another
Pretty good one as well.
blockbuster.
Jordan Shepherd, Jake McCartney.
Yeah, yeah. Good to see the Aussie back in action. And
I'm sure all the bars in Blackpool are overjoyed as well that he's back in Blackpool for a bit. Likes a couple of shandies, let's say.
he's here with his lady friend this weekend. So
Is he? I didn't know that.
I'm sure he'd be a good boy.
He's great fun, is Jake McCartney.
He really is.
Lovely lad.
Yeah, it's going to be good to.
As is all of the players, to be fair.
Good to see him in action. It's always good to see Jordan Shepherd play as well. So.
Yeah. Well, Jake's obviously over here for the World Championships as well. He's over here with his Australian team. As we look at Tom Cousins doing what he does best, clearing pool tables. This yellow just slots in between yellow and red. He just dribbles his down the table.
Yeah, just to trace aside the cue ball across, and he won't be hampered. He can cue it onside the red. And as we always expect, a drama-free clearance from Tom Cousins to win the first frame. Just out in the arena. There we go.
Very good prompt there, Nick. Now Rowe just wants to drag the cue ball down. He's played that nicely.
Yeah, beautiful.
He'd like to have a little bit of angle in it. He'd rather get the cue ball away from the cushion, but he'll settle for this. Drag the cue ball back just past the middle.
That's just on the knuckle. He's fine. He's dead straight, but just slightly off straight. Or slightly awkward. Oh,
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Nick. When he cued that, he sort of nicely done. Just wants to drag the cue ball up now. A little bit careful. And that's why he had to be a little bit careful. Just that knuckle into the.
Well,
the
this is
middle
skinny. This is very skinny. If he's going to cut this in the middle, the cue ball's going to be running as well. Can he cut it to the middle is the question.
He can cut it.
Very thin. Maybe.
But it's the cue ball, the one to watch here.
Oh no, overcut it.
Well. Just when you thought
Following that
he was
earlier shot as well,
Yeah.
Tony, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, he knows it as well. That's two. He's let two get away, and you know when you add them up, I mean, Tom Cousins goes out here, wins his phrase forward. You know, it should be 2-all.
Work to do here, though, Tony. I mean, two balls are probably in about as difficult a position as they could be on the table. One just below that he's just nudged out. It's still a little bit awkward, and he's got the one just below the right centre as well. So either one of those is still tricky.
Well, it's a big shot to play the yellow down the rail. He plays the one that's near the black spot, which I think he's going to do. Now, I'm not sure if he screws into the one on the rail or does he drop down on the bottom ball. I think he probably goes and he's played at the bottom. I thought he was going to screw into the one on the rail, but
I think he's tried to leave an angle there, hasn't he, to come
It's
back
tricky.
up and nudge it out, and he's landed too straight on it.
I just see he caught that way too thin. It was a thin cut, but it wasn't that thin. And
This is by no means a gimme finish, though. Would love to have been another roll up the table. He could have had the angle to come up and move that ball on the right. I think he's going to have to land on it now. Has no option. Well, he's got no angle here either, so this might be a double and one down the cushion, Tony. The one to the top left and then the one on the right hand side is a double. He's near straight.
Oh,
Goodness
ouch.
me. How do you hammer that in with that kind of... I mean,
I
that
don't
is
know.
almost dead straight.
Somebody call the fire brigade to come and put the cloth out. That was belted into that corner.
The accuracy to get it in from that angle at that pace.
Hello.
Yeah. Used every part of the pocket.
Well, the one he belted nearly up the rail into that corner, that hardly touched the sides, and then the one he's just dribbled, it's wiped its feet.
And he can't drop this either.
He's got a screw back.
He's got a screw back for the 8, so needs another good one.
That was beautifully played. Precise cueing, great control.
That really is a ridiculous finish.
That is a tough finish that Tom Cousins has took out.
Yeah.
And how well's he playing?
Lost the cue ball, unusually for him. Just squirted over. Nearly found that middle pocket, but actually it's
Well, it's just all depends on the 3 yellows that are clustered together at the top of the table. He's made his ball. He's on the yellow at the bottom. He's, reds look the better, but he's not going to take reds. Why try and pop one of those?
Yeah, very, very tough opener. But
Well, he's just not going to take. Fair play. If he takes on that long red into that corner, I mean,
yeah,
he's a braver man than I am. He wants a little angle over there.
just enough there. Just enough
He
to be
might.
able to punch across.
I think he's got it.
Yeah.
He's going to that cluster. He's got to be careful how he goes into this. He could end up knocking one of these safe. So he's, you saw him just sort of look down the sight of his cue.
I think he's
from the yellow,
looking at the gap. Yeah. He was just looking at. If you aim for the gap, catch that first yellow. Almost certainly going to be on something. He's close to his work, but
no, he's settled for that.
Yeah.
He's happy. He's got his little angle in now. Drops this in on the top rail. Me, I think you want to top this a little bit, maybe slight left hand side, not too much. So you want to come sort of into the reds, if you can. You don't want to leave yourself a bit short playing the wide angle with the cue ball going into the 3 reds. So you want to come in now, really. So I think that's a bit short. No, it's not. He can check the cue ball through the gap. I thought for a split second there he'd come up short. Well, Tom Cousins looking ominous.
there's been some really
statement in it. He's been very good, Tom.
Yeah, there's been some really good performances today, and there's a few players who you look at and you think these guys, they're on form this weekend. John McAllister was one of them, and you look at Tom again now, and it's just another sublime performance. And I mean, even Harrison earlier. I mean, what a great performance from him. But they've got this mountain to climb.
Yep.
When this guy's
He is
playing
a
well,
mountain of a player and a performer, and down goes the black. Cousins eases past John Rowe. John will be a bit disappointed, missed some opportunities, but welcome back to Blackpool as Jordan Shepherd, the Welsh wizard, smashes his break. He's up against Jake McCarthy, all the way from Australia. Lovely to see Jake back. I'm Tony Holgate, and the great Stephen Jameson's here with me.
Yeah, looking forward to this one as well. We've landed ourselves another great match, Tony. This is probably the one that I'd say most looking forward to today. We've had a few good ones. John McAllister, Chris Melling was outstanding for different reasons. Dave Gilbert versus Stevie Dempsey was much anticipated and certainly lived up to the hype. But this one's a cracker. Jordan Shepherd, excited to see how he goes. He's one of the best players in the world. He's right up there in the rankings, and he is hungry over the course of this fortnight to win some prizes. And then you bring back the awesome Aussie, Jake McCartney. And so great to see Jake again. Gave him a big bear hug earlier on, first time I'd seen him in a year and a half. Such a fantastic character, but importantly, such a wonderful player as well. And played really well in China over the course of the last couple of weeks. So one would hope his game's there, and we could be in for a barn-burning finish to our first day of Pro Series 5, Tony.
Yeah, he's a wonderful character, is Jake. And it's been over a year since I was him, and he likes a night out on the town now and again, this Jake, bless him. But he's going to have his work cut out with Sheppy. I'll tell you what, I cannot remember a day one at one of these events where the pool's been so good.
Well, me and Si just said that out in the arena. Oh, Sheppy, that's a poor one.
Apart from that shot.
All right then. So I wonder, there'll be a reason why that's happened. I'm just trying to process. First frame at the table, brand new cloth and all the rest of it. Just wonder if something's caught him out. Cue ball looked to be quite trappy there. Whether he was expecting more of a slide. He hasn't recovered it, has he? It's not a bad situation.
But we were saying, weren't we, what a day one it's been. The standard's been brilliant.
Yeah, and me and Si were talking in the arena, you know, this Pro Series had a huge build-up to it because of what follows, mainly. You know, we've got a World Championships coming up immediately off the back of this event. And, you know, there's players there who are, you know, really keen to play well for their teams. The likes of Jake McCartney, of course. You know, I'm thinking your Shane Thompsons, your Carl Suttons, your stalwarts of international teams. But then there's a World Championships to be won, and it's as good a field as we've had in years. Melling's in it, Harrison's in it, Cousins, Brennan, Shepherd, like it's loaded. So it just adds that little bit extra, doesn't it? And you're imagining players are sharp, they're putting in the time, they're putting in the hours, and they're wanting to put on a show. And that's exactly what these two are going to try and do. Jordan Shepherd has been let off the hook.
Yeah, that World Championships, I mean, whoever wins it this year, not that any other year is less of a world champion, but this really is a world title.
Well, I think we can say it right, Tony. I don't think there's any great shame in it. And, you know, there was once upon a time when the World Championships was the event. It is fantastic to see. Oh, Jakey. well, the Aussies all smiles.
I think all you can do is laugh at that one.
What on earth has happened here, Jakey? Oh my God, it's stuck under his finger.
He did.
Oh no!
Poor old Jake.
Almost looks like you're wasting his time. Scott Price there racking the balls, and he's bang under it. Jeffy's staring through him. Luckily, Scott Price is one of the quickest rackers of a ball you ever see.
Yeah, top referee Scott.
They sounded so good as well, and they were, but the cue balls rocketed straight back.
To be fair, you said earlier that he had the cue ball was been a bit floating around the table on his break earlier.
Yeah, he'll be livid with that. Alright, so whilst Jake gets a start on these reds, that's a lovely opening shot just to develop his awkward one. Let's take a little wander through the live scores at the moment. The last 32 currently being played. Tom Cousins is already through. If you missed that match, it was on earlier. 7-1 win against John Rowe. Aaron Davies with it also with a 7-1 win over Liam White. Brilliant result that for Aaron. Sean Sharkey, a 7-5 winner over the on-form Ian Alley. Sean Sharkey starting the weekend well. Dave McNamara is over Luke Sanchez, 7-5. David Hogan is on the hill against Ronan McCarthy. Chris Day and Paul Clack locked at 5s. Dylan Leary threw 7-1 against John McAllister. What a performance.
I saw the end of that. He was playing brilliantly, Dylan Leary. Fantastic performance. David Hogan's took out some players today. But if he goes on to beat Ronan McCarthy.
These are the ones that really hurt as a player, aren't they? Jordan Shepherd sat in his chair watching Jake dish these up. He knew as soon as he sat in his chair they were probably gone. As soon as Jake played his first shot, bumped his awkward ball out, he knew it was all over. So he's not even paying attention, he knows it's done. Yeah, they're just a bit of a sore one to take. These two exchanging blows for 3.
I did get ticked off a few times when I played. It's fair to say.
Can't imagine that. Well, it's all square because Sheppy hit a brilliant break last time, was dry. So too now as Jake. He hit these beautifully. Didn't really deserve a dry break, but neither did Sheppy. So I feel like they're evening each other out really on that front. Could be really important as well because this frame takes Jordan Shepherd to the hill if he can win it. Difference between 5-all and 6-4 enormous.
Indeed, indeed. Once again, it's been another super match, whatever the outcome. In an ideal world, Sheppy wants to be left-hand side of those 2 yellows. He could get there off this yellow at the top of the table. That's where he's pointing there. That's where he wants to be. So he's going to try and slide behind that red on the left and onto the left-hand rail. That was pretty good.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that. A bit of the old Tommy Cooper's coming out there.
Yeah. He's got options here because I think if he can see both, he can take one to the top right, which would bump the other one. He is going to go middle first. He might have to nip this. Yeah, just have to be careful with it. Danger was he knocked that yellow on towards the baulk line and wasn't on anything, but he's controlled that well.
Still got the wrong angle. Might have to punch this in.
Yeah, can he get himself somewhere close to straight on the yellow into the left middle? Next shot. Oh, how's this your answer? Ignore me. You go your own way, Jordan. Flowing.
He's brought them all to the party tonight, his shots, isn't he?
Just looks so confident, doesn't he?
Just looking at, he's just going to drop this into the middle. He can play the cut with the yellow into the bottom left. He'll just have to be very careful. What he wants to do is he wants to come back a couple of inches here so he could actually play a screw shot. What on earth?
A couple of inches.
I thought you could drop that in and just play the cut into there. That's wow.
Couple of inches, yeah, it doesn't go. So after all that, I mean, what a shot Jordan Shepherd has played there. I must admit, I was working on the
this is outrageous. That's outrageous.
That yellow just went because why would he be so casual? But that's filthy. The Welsh wizard has conjured something quite magnificent there. the bloke behind him can't quite believe what he's just seen, and I don't think I can. It's a disaster for Jay McCartney.
As one door opens, another one closes. The backward way of saying that.
That's tough. Stops a centimetre short, it's fine. And the thing is because he started to go, he feels like he just sort of has to continue. Does he have an angle here now to potentially go back into it?
I think he needs to move the yellow beneath the black as well.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I don't think it has a pocket, really. Yeah, Jake knows he's up against it here. drawing back. Can't blame him. Just says, all right then, Sheppy, if you want it, go and have it. It's not easy for Jordan, of course, because the red is a bigger problem for Jordan as it is for Jake at the top left of the table.
Can he double that red?
Potentially.
If you can get past
Just wonder if he's going to play the plant here and go into it. Oh, how about that?
Yeah, that's a fair shot. Wow.
Well, that is some shot from Jordan Shepherd. How good is that?
Well, the match is there now for Jordan Shepherd. Black ball, the only awkward ball on the table.
Yeah, be interested to see how he goes about it from here. Because he's got options for that 8 ball. It is a little tricky to land on.
He's looking at putting the red at the right hand side into the middle, but both reds into the centres. But he wants to get an angle on the one nearest the black. He wants to try and be able to roll it in and push the cue ball just through and have the black in the bottom right hand corner. I think that looks pretty good.
I think he's perfect here. He's absolutely plumb.
We'll soon know.
Oh, well, he wasn't plumb, but it didn't matter.
Wasn't, but that's a lovely shot.
How good is that from Jordan Shepherd at his free-flowing best? And great to see Jake McCartney playing well as well. That was a joy of a match, Tony.
Absolutely.